When a man is as polarizing as Vincent Kennedy McMahon, there is bound to be people who get on his bad side, and none of them seem to last with the company. Here are the 10. Nails. Nails had a short, forgettable career in WWE and is most remembered for one backstage incident with the boss himself. There's been lawsuits both ways for the incident, and after this, Nails' career ended due to being blackballed by the WWE. Since 2007, his family have run a car garage, with his wrestling career long in the rearview mirror. Christian. Following the Attitude Era, Christian's partner Edge became one of the biggest stars in the history of wrestling. Christian, not so much. It's hard to say why, but McMahon never saw anything in Christian, and it shows in his career achievements. He eventually got his world title, and now in retirement works with WWE as a network talent with the show himself and Edge produce. Buff Bagwell. When WWE purchased WCW, they retained the contracts of many stars, lots of which played a key role in the Invasion storyline. Not among them was Buff Bagwell, who was part of the WWE's attempted WCW reboot show, facing Booker T for the WCW title. Unfortunately, this failed and he was let go, and today he makes his living with the occasional wrestling appearance and a gig as a gigolo. Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett never reached the heights that he thought he deserved in WWE, and that's down to some tension backstage. Instead of returning to the WWE after WCW went under, Jarrett went out and tried to give WWE some new competition. TNA was great for a decade and looked like the genuine competition to WWE at one stage. But since leaving the situation, he has started GFW, another promotion that sadly looks bound to fail. Rob Van Dam. RVD was one star who transcended ECW and looked like becoming a bigger star for WWE, even winning their world title in 2006. Unfortunately, his true potential was never reached, as he didn't have the relationship with Vince McMahon that other stars had. He was fired for this and a DUI, and outside of a few appearances with WWE over the last few years, he takes independent bookings. Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff was the driving force behind WCW, so it's obvious why there would be competition between him and McMahon. WWE decided to put this difference aside and brought him into the company as the GM of Raw for a very successful stint. Since making peace, Bischoff runs his own production company and also keeps in touch with wrestling by running a weekly podcast. Jim Ross. Despite being the greatest announcer in WWE history, there has never been much love from the top guys in WWE towards good old JR. McMahon thought that JR was too country to be on TV and fired him much earlier than everyone thought necessary. Despite having reasons to be spiteful towards the company, JR keeps it respectful and runs a weekly podcast staying in touch with the wrestling business today. Bruno Sammartino. Bruno was the first big star the WWE ever had, but when Vince Jr. took over from his father, the tension between him and Bruno began. The Italian legend hated what the WWE was turning into, and this soon turned to hatred towards McMahon. Like always, Vince was able to mend fences and inducted Sammartino into the Hall of Fame in 2014, and since then he lives a normal, retired life. Bret Hart. The Montreal Screwjob is the biggest moment in wrestling history, and it came from real-life tension between Hart and Vince McMahon, and, in fact, the whole WWE. The two came to blows on the night, but eventually they reconciled, and then had a horrible match at WrestleMania. These days, Hart enjoys family time and also runs a small loan company for a business in Canada, CM Punk. It's safe to say that no one in WWE management was ever fond of CM Punk. But looking back, it's obvious Vince McMahon was at the forefront of that. Due to his look, Punk was never even meant to make it as far as he did. But against the hate, he became one of the most popular stars since the Attitude Era. Since leaving in a controversial fashion, Punk went on to fight in the UFC, and he has also been writing comic books. Well, there you have it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, Vince McMahon's feelings should never discount what a performer has done for the wrestling business.